Welcome back, gentlemen, to the Martinus Way podcast, where we explore the stories, decisions, and people driving one of the world's fastest growing rail infrastructure businesses.
Nice.
Today's a special milestone episode. Martinus is officially celebrating 20 years in the industry. From a single founder sitting in an apartment with a vision, you like that?
Yep.
To a global rail infrastructure company operating across Australia, New Zealand, Chile, and the USA. With 8 business divisions and thousands of people contributing to the Martinus story. So today we're going to honour that journey. We're going to discuss the opportunities. We're going to discuss the wins, the learnings, and the moments that shaped who we are. With us, I have our founding member, our founding guru, CEO and founder, Treven Martinus, and 2 leaders who joined during pivotal moments in the business, from when we went from product supply to construction. We have, and have helped shape Martinus significantly, Ryan Baden, our COO.
G'day, mate.
And Toby Briggs, who is currently our VP of USA Operations. Sound right?
Sounds very good. Thanks, Craig.
And myself, Craig Boothroyd, who's hosting the podcast today and 10 years deep in at Martinus. So let's jump in. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thanks, Greg.
Mate, great to be here.
It is. It's been a while since we've done our last update, but again, like I said, this is a milestone episode for us with a 20-year anniversary celebration. So I want to jump straight in. Treven, 20 years, when you see where Martinus is now, what's the first feeling that hits you?
Yeah, it blows me away. I was just in a meeting with Queensland Rail yesterday, and the Chief Operating Officer of Queensland Rail Major Projects said he remembers when Martinus first started, and it wasn't actually when Martinus first started, it was 10 years. 10 years in, he said that remember having a beer with you on your Ausrail stand and you were doing these minor projects, and he said, so how much work in hand do you have now? And I said, $2 billion of work in hand of projects that we're delivering right now. He was blown away, and it just shows where we've come. So that was only 10 years ago. That wasn't even 20 years ago. So right at the start, 20 years ago, we were just a small component supplier to the rail industry here in Australia. Now, as you rattled off, a global rail infrastructure business, you say one of the fastest, I'd say the fastest growing rail infrastructure business around the globe. There's no one like us, which blows me away.
Can you take me back to the start then? And we'll just do a quick intro and won't spend too much time on the past because I know you're future focused.
Definitely.
But what was it? What's the real origin story? How did you start? If you can just give me.
Yep. So always in the rail industry, but never worked for the railways. I was always outside originally providing products to the rail industry. So I worked for a manufacturer that I came up with ideas of how to service the projects that were getting delivered at the time better than the manufacturer I was working for. And I pitched that idea to the CEO of the business, and as I did, I probably pitched him an idea every week of new ways of things that we should do. But then also, if he said yes, I would go and make it happen. But he said no to this one, and I knew it was the right step. I knew it was a huge missing element. It was a big opportunity for that business. So I thought, hey, why not do it ourselves? So it was 12 to 18 months in the planning before I actually started. But then when I started it, to myself, Jade, in an apartment in Cronulla, and setting up everything from scratch, bank accounts, accounting systems, how to emails, and then we started supplying products. It was just little products to start with, and then it turned into turnouts. One turnout turned into 2 turnouts, turned into 5 turnouts, and then 10 turnouts, and then we got this order with ARTC, which is they've been a key client of ours all the way through. And the first big order was 56 turnouts for them, up against global leaders in turnout manufacturing supply. There was 3 companies, 2 Europeans and 1 American, and then there was a Australian startup, 1 person in the business at the time, and we beat these multinationals at their game to secure that on. Haven't looked back.
Probably important to say you'd built their trust by then, though.
Definitely, yeah.
You were doing a lot of work for them.
Yeah, that's starting with the 1 turnout to 2
Building
to
a
5
relationship.
to 10.
I first met Trev in 2009 in himself and Nathan in a ute out at near past Singleton, actually. I was looking at these turnouts on the ground, and the client said, no, the guy's going to come in, he's going to change the crossings on him, he's going to turn them around, he's got it under control. And I was like, just another consultant, here we go. Yeah. And along comes Trev fixing some turnouts.
Yeah.
Trevin actually fixing the turnout?
Yeah, actually was on the ground, himself, 100%.
There we go.
So first, I just picked up the guy you pitched the idea to said no.
Correct. Yep.
What an
Yep.
idiot.
So it's been constant. I do come up with some. I come up with crazy ideas, but they're always founded in an opportunity that we can take what we're doing forward, our team forward. And as you guys know me, if someone says no, it's fuel on the fire.
Yeah, I was about to say. I
It's fuel
think
on
we've
the
learned
fire.
over the years, no's not the answer. Like even if you think no's the answer, it's let me see where we can make that work.
We'll always work out a way. And there is always a way.
So what about the sacrifices early on? Tell me about some of the sacrifices you endured early on and what those early years were like.
Thankful to having a great wife, Jade. There was times where we couldn't afford to get a meal, so we actually got her mum bought us our groceries for a week because we were hand to mouth. There was you win a project, you get paid, you get all the money in the door, and then you got to look for the next one. So there was many times like that all the way at the start, but we were young, relatively young. It's but I had a young family at the same time, so. Hats off to Jade to put up with it because I don't think about that as much as most people. I've got a big risk tolerance, so I'll just
big nuts. I think.
Yeah,
Has been said before.
Not quite like that.
So it's there will always be a way.
When did you realise that maybe things were becoming bigger than Martinus was becoming bigger than just yourself?
Yeah, we hired some first employees. So 2005 when we started, 2008 was the first handful of employees. Mark Fulford from that round and still with us. He's our general manager, CEO of our product supply business, Salix. And we hired a lot of people, 8 in total, to make it a big business. So that was the first time that I had a team around me that did a few things. It helped get things done, but they also had the responsibility of having people working for you, which was a different mindset. Not just delivering for a client. You've got a team that you've also got to lead, make sure that we've got new opportunities coming in, and it was great building that small team.
Yeah. I know from personal experience with you over the last 10 years that, you take it very seriously, the responsibility that comes with having that large team and making sure that we're continually growing to, have people employed.
Yep.
So well done for that. All right, well, I know that gives us a bit of a starting point. You two guys came in or walked into the business during a pivotal transition era. Tell me how that occurred.
Well, you start because one leads off Ryan. So.
Yeah, I guess I'd just come back from the Pilbara, and Langer Rock called me up and said, "Oh, we've got a contractor in to do some track work," which is a bit abnormal for them. And they said, "Oh, well, what are you doing? Can you come over and be a consultant and manage this contractor?" They go on site, and lo and behold, there's 4 Fijians and a couple of Great Wall Utes building a bit of track. I was like, Martinus rail on these Great Wall Utes. So I was like, "Oh, what's he up to now?" But no, fair play. They got it done. It was through, it was a bit of a battle, but it got done. And getting to the back of that, I was talking to Dudley, rest him, and He said, "I'll come down to the old Macquarie Fields Tavern and having chicken
Macquarie
snitty with
Fields.
Trev." Anyone been? That was a
Well,
beautiful
stomping
establishment. Still is. Went down, had a chat, and I was mentioning Trev and a few things that I thought they could do better. And he said, "Well, come on then, come over and have a crack." So
Perfect.
for me, it was a big jump. I think every single person I spoke to said, "You're absolutely insane.
Yep.
Don't do it. You're going to work twice as hard, get paid half the money. Like, what are you doing?"
Yep.
So it was the easiest decision I've ever made.
Yep.
Jumped straight across, and that was probably number 10 or 12 on that list of 8. There was a small little office in Kirrawee there, but they were my first impressions of that was really smart little company doing great things. Like turning over $10 million a year, making money, making good profit. I was like, what is he doing? What are they thinking? Trying to get into construction. But there was a strategy, right? There was a strategy.
Yeah.
There was a clear, we're going to do it this way,
Yeah.
which I thought was quite unique, right? It was, design, supply, install, maintain, turnouts,
Yeah.
which was great. I thought it was fantastic. Turns out that we couldn't run a business doing
No.
that though. We ran out of work. We learned that pretty quickly the hard way. So it was good to be able to see the pivot as soon as we worked out, hey, that's not going to work, how quickly we could pivot. It was off and away, and then it was into hiring Toby next.
So how did you come in, Tobes?
So I started with Langerock with Ryan. We were actually working in Glenfield, which was coincidentally the same place that Ryan went and oversaw Martinus, Fijians, and the Great Walls.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was in contact with Ryan. I did a couple of years overseas after Glenfield, and I met Ryan and came back for a mate's wedding actually. And I was thinking, I was living in Manchester. I was going to come home, go to the wedding, move back to London. And Ryan's like, "Oh, let's catch up for a coffee or whatever." And he's like, "Oh, I've just started this new company. Probably worth having a chat." So I ended up meeting up with Trevor, Dudley, and Ryan down at next door.
Yep.
Next door.
Yeah, it's next door.
Had a coffee there, and I still had my travelling beard and all that sort of good stuff. And yeah, I think
They
that
were
sort of
travelling weight too.
travelling right. No, I was exploring.
You carried that for a few years.
Yeah, it's still here. But yeah, rest is history since then. And I got married a couple of years ago, and Dad actually said it in his speech at the wedding. He said, that was a pivotal moment where he said, I'd come to him and said, "Oh, I've got these, options here of either going back or working for a big tier one," or, it was very much, I think that my comment to him was, there's opportunity here. Yeah, it's not as good at money, but I see the long-term opportunity. And we're sitting in this room today. It's that just over 12 years later for me.
Yeah.
So
hats off to these guys, because it was a small business. We were a small product supply business starting from scratch in railway construction, and my experience hasn't changed too much. Is 0 in rail construction, but it was even less than 0 back then. I know a little bit now. I've progressed to the site engineer.
I reckon you're
level.
PE. You're getting
PE.
PE.
Yeah, nice. Thanks. Thanks,
But
mate.
that was, you look at our experience in that. Like, I'd never tendered a project before. I'd never run, project financials to the details that we had to run them. We were all learning,
Yeah.
and having to learn real quickly as well,
On
right?
the run.
I think that in terms of the culture of the business side of things, is like intuition's always been the key ingredient, I think. And as we've gotten bigger, that's evolved even more so, and that's the accountability, autonomy, all that sort of stuff. But the intuition side of it is almost get the right people together. It doesn't matter what you know or don't know. It's like, well, you've got the way Trevin operates in that, I guess the growth mindset and the wanting to explore, like you've always got the backing to just have a crack. So I hadn't tendered the job either. First job I tendered was Port Kembla.
Yep.
So it's like, I think it's just
Which
get the
is
right
job
people
I
together.
came onto.
Yep.
Yeah.
Get the right people together, and then
And then these guys tendering. I remember where we always pushed to go for bigger. And it was the Gunnedah rail project that came out, and at the time we were installing turnouts. We were doing track reconditionings, maybe a little bit of re-railing as well in the Hunter Valley, and it was during the mining boom, and all the big companies, all the big construction companies were busy delivering $2 billion in the Hunter Valley. There was this project, we eyeballed it at $10 million. It was multidisciplinary. It was building the track, it was building all the drainage, and also all the signalling for this yard in the Hunter Valley. These guys tendering, and I just remember going into the office. We were at Kirrawee at the time, and they had a signalling company in there. Then they had a civil company in there that they'd selected, and working in the boardroom, and it was they were tendering and estimating. It's working out how to be the best to win the project, and the ideas that were flowing around getting thrown around the room, flowing around the room, were amazing. And we went on to win the job.
I think it's important. The site walk for that one, I remember sitting on the platform next to a Leighton's, an LS rail leader at the time. He goes, "What the hell are you guys doing? You're too small for this project." And it's just like, "You guys, you're too small." So that definitely put a bit of fire into us to win that project as well.
I was going to ask a story that captures what Martinus was like at the time, but that sounds like it was kind of it.
Work. A lot of
Hard
work.
Yeah.
A lot of work.
And that was like Gunnedah. I remember, we were doing a 2-in-1 or, driving up the road. That was before the Hunter Expressway was there. So you're going through all those little towns, but just sitting in the room there, pub dinner most nights, but then you'd be on the computer all night doing management plans, and writing them from scratch. We didn't have a system.
Yeah.
So it was just like those hard yards early then set the platform.
What were some of the toughest lessons that, we learned as a company in those days, you reckon?
People, getting the right people.
Yeah.
Was it. Every kind of lesson we learned was around, I think at that time we just needed people, right? And I think we needed to get to about 30, 40 staff.
Yeah.
Engineering, project management staff, and we were looking at skill sets. Very much like, this guy's got the right skill sets. Look at his CV.
Yeah.
He's delivered $200 million projects for Leighton or Langer Rock. We'd hire those people. Every mistake we made was because of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Revolving door. That was the moment. We've said it before. That was when we won 4 projects. We went for 4 projects to secure one, and we won all 4. So we just needed to hire what we thought we needed to get bums on seats, because that's what I hadn't seen it, but that's what these guys had seen in the companies they'd worked for before.
Correct.
Win a project, just go hire everyone from scratch. Just get someone with the right title that'd done it before, get them in, and it wasn't successful. It wasn't successful, the companies they worked for, and then it didn't work for us either. And it was a revolving door. The amount of people that came in, and we just go, may as well do it ourselves, as opposed to, and Ryan came up with the same better a hole than an arsehole. And then so we ripped it off like a Band-Aid and just kept going.
Classic Ryan.
But it defined who we were, and it defined who we are still to this date. If it's the wrong person, they're out.
First person I hired an attitude was you.
Yeah.
I remember the recruiter calling me up, and there was all these really highly qualified, skilled safety managers. Yeah. And he goes, "Mate, look, this guy's probably CV doesn't stack up for what you're looking for right now." But he goes, "But you got to meet him. You got to interview him."
Looking bloke, like.
One of the best. No, and that's true.
I
had never set foot on a railway.
Yeah.
Some years in oil and gas and mining, but transferable skills, but not. I didn't know the legislation. I didn't even know the legislation. Didn't know who Onza was.
I think that trend. I was thinking about this yesterday. Like the amount of people we've now hired off attitude. and type of personality and empathy and all those things versus the CV of 20 years in rail.
Yeah.
It's like
we go back to
examples.
We come up with the hungry, humble, smart.
Yeah.
Right? We want those people, and to this day we're still hiring people based on those attributes.
100%.
Yeah. Yep.
And then the idea is that we can teach the skill and the knowledge that they require. But
we're pretty good at hiring now.
Yeah, I think so.
I think we've got the critical mass now where you're attracting the best people as well. We get to pick and choose almost now.
Absolutely. So let's zoom out. I want to look at the business and how it has evolved.
Yep.
From those beginnings. Let's talk about one man to 8 business divisions, 4 countries. When you say it like that, one man with a vision.
One man, a ute, and
one man,
a great wall.
A great wall ute.
That was a Toyota.
It was actually a Toyota. The Great Walls came because we couldn't afford the Toyota.
No,
it was the Great Walls were like 20
We stepped
20
into
grand.
Tritons and we thought it was a big step up.
But what worked out, decisions like that, it actually cost you more in the long run. So we're a Toyota business through and through on there. They're great. How we gone from the one person to
let's go major eras. So what were some of the big turning points where basically there was a paradigm shift? We leveled up and we went into a new stratosphere. Like let's go through, if you were to define maybe 3 major eras.
It is 3. It's so we're 20 years. So every 7 years we've started something completely new, still focused in the rail space because it's the same clients. It's what we're passionate about doing. It attracts the people that love love the rail industry. But the first 7 years was product supply, from as I said earlier, from zero to being one of the major turnout suppliers here in Australia. First 7 years, and then that's when Ryan and Toby joined after that 7 years to start construction. But it actually started 2 years prior to that, and in the planning and the ideas and what to do to define a strategy that would kick us off. I wouldn't say it wasn't the set strategy of this is going to work, but just come up with a plan, a strategy of how we would see it work at that point in time. And it led to hiring these two great guys and joining the team, and then we modified what we thought was the great idea, and then we had to modify and shift. So that was the next 7 years, delivering railway construction, rail services, minor works, renewal works for the Australian industry, and across Australia. We were building track for the new Moreton Bay rail line. We were doing the multidisciplinary in Gunnedah Yard. We delivered the Port Kembla coal terminal, which was end up being a big civil project with some rail on top, and diverse and spread across Australia, building rail services. Yep,
Gold Coast Light Rails.
Yeah.
And then
Or subcontracting.
and then over to subcontracting on the major projects, or delivering small packages direct for the railways. Didn't enjoy the subcontracting at all, one bit. Every single project, you build capability, the expert team that we know what we're doing, and the client would take it and either not listen to us or put all the risk on us, or play games because they wanted to get a benefit for their overall project. So we just didn't have the control. So we worked out the next phase. The next phase was then to jump from that, from the subcontract role, the small packages, to major projects was the next phase. And how does a small Aussie private business go up against these multinational 800-pound gorillas? They're huge. They're the biggest. We actually went up against the biggest construction companies in the world. In Australia, they're all here. The Spanish, the Chinese, and the Italians. Sounds like a joke in the pub.
It is a joke.
And the Aussie. And we had to, and Ryan, Toby, myself, we had to come up, and Craig, you were involved as well, working out the plan. What's that next? How to jump the chasm to be a major project, and it's hindsight. We can join the dots, but there would have been a lot of. I remember the time in the Kirrawee office with Ryan. We worked out how to get on that first major project. So we identified
the project,
all the types of projects across the top, all the competitors that would go for it, and we identified most major projects are 90% civil, 10% rail.
Yep.
Is a ballpark by value, by scope, etc. There was one project on there that was actually the other way around, the Murray Basin Rail Project, which was 90% rail, track and others, and then 10% civil. So that's the one.
Yeah.
We've got to go for it.
And that's the one Toby came on to
Yep.
lead, didn't you? You were heavily involved in that one.
Yeah, the moment we won, I was shipped out of Gold Coast and straight down to Melbourne.
At
Victoria.
great personal expense for Toby, putting his hand up to be the construction manager for the project, Murray Basin project. It's 400 kilometres of track standardisation, 87 kilometres of a new build. We had from 0 to 450 people on site within 6 weeks in regional Victoria.
700 people.
700, and the piece of plant, it was...
If anyone knows how hard it is to manage one weld crew, he had 39 of them every single day.
And then the sacrifice Martinus as a business made for that, because Toby and the Gold Coast team delivering the subcontractor on the Gold Coast Light Rail, smashing it out of the park. Project wasn't finished, but we had to grab the best team. We weren't going to hire because hiring people to lead our projects from external didn't work in the past. No. So we'll grab the the awesome team that we've currently got that are proven, that know how we operate to go on that. So
Still a lot of people who worked on that with us.
yeah.
Mm.
Yep.
So
Murray
you've gone-
Basin.
Well,
Pivotal moment.
pivotal moment. So we've gone from turnout supply to construction
Yep.
to major project, working on a major project.
As a joint venture.
As a joint, it was a JV,
and a-
yeah,
and a-
and we
a
were
small joint
we
venture
were
partner.
the small
guy
partner on that.
delivering the most amount of work on
Launch,
it. So.
yeah.
Yeah, we love JVs.
And even the back end of that as well is like, yeah, we had to pull everyone to the start of that project, but we had to pull the whole way through and right through to the end as well. And that hurt off the back of the project, because when it finished up, we're like, we haven't invested enough in tendering or other projects, that we sort of fell off a revenue cliff
Yes.
off the back of that. And
Yes,
that
I
was,
remember.
that it is what it was. And I feel like as one of the biggest lessons we've learned as a company was through that JV, because we learned everything of how they do things and how you shouldn't do things, but also like, all of those sort of pain points that the whole way through that. And
Yeah, we got a lot of systems
Yeah, we
out of
did.
it. We
We
went from
learned a
a
lot.
small construction system to a major project system, and built the team as well.
So we minor JV partner into major projects.
Yep.
What was the next stage?
So that was the first step to be a major project. So we had to be on a major project, JV, minor JV. So we had to actually finish that and prove ourselves. So we had the reference project for the government agencies, or big mining companies, because they're not going to trust they don't, and they won't trust a company if they haven't delivered before, which is not so easy if you're the new kids on the block. And yes, we've delivered all these smaller projects and successfully. And the next one was the Carmichael Rail Network.
Yeah.
It had been a project that had been on the go for 10 years to get up and running into construction. Every construction company had a go to try to partner with Adani to deliver that. We'd finished Murray Basin. We're looking for the next project. Going for government projects was too much of as the sole contractor was too much of a step. So we went for the private mining company to be that delivery partner. It was the track construction package that came out.
You need to take a step back on that. There's a pivotal moment there where Treven decided to buy a track layer for $700,000. Now, this thing had been sitting in the bush in Chullora, rusted out like an old bucket. Yeah. And I remember going, he's like, it's a track layer. We know inland rail's coming up, right? We knew there was thousands of kilometres of track construction that was needed. So, that was a huge strategic maneuver to go and buy a track layer that was rusted out, 40 years old, sitting in a yard, and was decommissioned. So to buy that and understand that we could, potentially get that up and operational, but to have that in our plant and equipment fleet would put us in a good position for future projects. And the only reason we got the call to come and have a chat about Adani, because we were the only contractor who had a track layer.
Yep.
Ready to go.
A 20-year-old rusted
They didn't
track
know
layer
that. They didn't know that. We didn't tell them that.
No.
And where's that led us now in terms of owning plant? Like we're
Oh yeah, we've got the massive
largest
amount of
fleet
yeah,
in Australia.
built with the back of the Carmichael project as well.
So that was a pivotal moment. Yeah.
Yep.
So we delivered CRN really well, and then we're in the major project space.
That's right.
Well, I think you look at, we were still a track contractor though, right? We were still very much a track construction contractor. Yes, we'd secured the track construction project for Carmichael, and we're well underway with the planning and the procurement of all the plant equipment and materials for that. But I remember Treven calling me up and going, "We're going for the earthworks as well." And I just said, "Mate, forget." I remember the phone call. I was like, "Mate, forget about it."
How many times you've done that?
How
many times
I do it
have I come with you?
every day. I'm like, forget about it.
Nah,
Because
forget
I
about
know
it. Come on.
I have to actually execute. So the idea was great. And I said, you know what? You go for it. I'm busy planning. I've got this team getting started up. You go for it. Let me know when it's real. And he comes back about 2 days later and goes, "Can we get a team to tender it?" I was like, "Okay, let me think about it." Come back, put a team together. We went through an ECI to develop it. And it was instrumental. And, we quickly put together a team price program to deliver it. And then we're like, okay, I think we can do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, we did.
And then to put that in context, was our biggest civil project prior to that was like probably a $3 million $3 million civil package of works.
Maybe we'd moved 100,000 cube of material. This was 3.5 million.
This was 87 kilometres of virgin from bushland to a full operating railway. And the outturn value of that was $570 million from a $3 million project to a $570 million. As Ryan said, it was 3 million cubes of cut to fill, 9 bridges, the 40 kilometres of culverts and drainage, and the team that was on that during COVID,
phenomenal.
over 1,000 people in and out off the project in an 18-month period.
It was wild.
I remember people in the industry just calling me up going, "You guys are insane.
Yeah.
Like, you are going to go work for Carmichael on this project?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we're going to go build it." And they're like, "Well, you get through that, you'll survive anything then."
Yeah.
And it was a lot of hard work. There was a lot of long, swings on site, including myself, and getting borders locked and getting shut away from my family and all of our teams.
Yeah.
But I think it built a lot of resilience in our team and a lot of capability as well.
A lot of the people that
capability
did
in
for
our
us on
team.
that job
Yeah.
stayed with us
Yeah.
Yeah.
because of,
We still talk about it all the time.
it's a
Even
good
like
story.
Will, Mitch, and Cutsy are all over in the US, and
Yeah.
it comes up in conversation regularly.
Yeah. So I want to go in. So we don't need to then go on and talk about all the other projects that we won and delivered after that fact, because that was just one of those pivotal moments that we're now a major project delivery company.
With capabilities from fence line to fence line, I would
Correct.
say.
Yeah.
That was a big.
Can I add just one more though?
Yes.
A to P. I think
Yes.
that's like that was the crescendo of almost like where we'd gotten
Yeah.
to as a company. It was like
True.
sole contractor to a major government organisation.
That's right.
Yeah.
$400 million project initially, and it's grown. But like, I remember looking at the scope when it came out. It's like it's everything we've done for the last 10 years, all in one project.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's where I was like, all right, I don't know, what do we got? $80 million worth of bridges on that job. And anyway, I just feel like that was another key point where we moved from, the private major project to a government major project. And then that's paving the way now for going for everything we're going for.
We think about
We've got the references for everything. We've got the JV for a major regional package. We got a sole contractor for a massive mining company for a greenfield, and we've also got a brownfield mega project for a government agency. And
Metro.
there's more beyond that.
Yep.
Yeah,
Well, not
so
just the
many
references, we now had the people as well.
Yeah.
So there was that, knowing that we could actually deliver as well.
Yeah.
Big part.
I want to talk about the boldest chapter,
Yet to come.
going global,
more. Yes.
and what the thought process was behind that. So Ryan talks about New Zealand being the 8th state, but we did go to New Zealand first.
We did.
And that was a big jump
Yep.
at the time. But give me some thought process around that initial move, and then Chile and USA, our biggest market.
We had a look at what was the next stage. So we talked about the first 7 years products, the next 7 years rail construction, and then the third 7 years of growing into major projects and successfully delivering major rail projects here in Australia. Always, what's next beyond that? And you got to start early. If you don't start early, you get to the end of a 7 year period and growth will just plateau or will shrink, which the team that we've built want opportunities and thrive on opportunities where experts are building high-performing teams. And we want opportunities for those high-performing teams to go on to another bigger opportunity. And we looked at the Australian infrastructure market. We looked at things like long lineal, so pipelines, which is like rail, dams, roads, defence, renewables. Looked at in the Australian market, which one do we diversify into? And there's none of them struck a chord at all. It's just it's not.
It was a robust conversation. I still remember those conversations in those rooms.
We're going to buy a TBM, weren't we?
Yeah,
TBM, tunneling so on rail projects. The TBM was on the board. And the alternate was take our experience of being that full service, vertically integrated railway contractor to global markets. New Zealand happened early before that. That was an extension of our Australian business, just to diversify. It's our region here. Make sure that we've always got opportunities for our team in Australia and New Zealand.
That one happened like when we normally when we're going to different states. It was always off the back of a project. And that one there, we got in on a project. There were people we knew. And we were already supplying turnouts into New Zealand. So it didn't feel like it did feel like a leap at the time. I remember going, we've got to get lawyers over there. We've got to set business up, bank accounts, and go through the process, it didn't understand the legislation around safety.
Yeah.
So it was a big learning experience, but I think it was a lot easier than a lot of the other ones we've done.
Yeah.
And look, you look at the further expansion to Chile and North America, they haven't been off the back of a project. So that would be a lot different.
Yeah, definitely. And so focus on being the railway contractor. I said earlier, focus on 4 things. So 4 major projects or 4 projects we'll go for. So let's go for 4 markets around the globe, focusing on railways and delivering railways. If you're in 8 markets, it's too many. If you're in 1, the music can stop and everyone doesn't have the opportunity to go forward. So that's why the catalyst to be in Chile and the US. Chile originally and still now is very similar to the east coast of Australia in their railways. So it was transferable skill set, and they like working with Australian business as opposed to Spanish businesses. Yep.
We had obviously we'd been selling small amounts of products into Chile back then through Sistema Sec, which was a joint venture, and I think it was important that we understood that market enough. You know, it was when the time came right, when Mauricio became available, for us it was like a no-brainer.
Yep.
I mean, you've been involved with the operations over there pretty significantly.
Yeah, I've been involved since when we started selling products.
Yeah.
10 years ago. I remember there was a guy working for us who was a Chilean, Enrique, and he was like, I've got this inquiry on the website. We even walked into that same little room that we had in Kirui, and he goes, forget about it, guys.
I think Mark Fulford brought it to you.
Don't even look at it.
No.
Forget about it.
What have we learnt from, say the business in Chile? What has that taught us about our own business here in Australia? And,
Well, what it did teach, so Enrique coming to Ryan and myself and Mark Fulford as well for that inquiry from Chile is I did say no, forget about it. We're busy here in Australia. We've got lots of opportunities because this was very early on. But then I slept and I thought I don't want to be that boss that I had saying no to ideas because if I say no to ideas, people will stop bringing those ideas to us, and ideas can come from best coming from people that are interacting with our clients, interacting with the industry, because it just creates so many different new pathways. And Chile's proof in that, which the company we supplied to dissolved, and their general manager came to Ryan myself for a business plan and say, do you want to start Martinus Chile? Construction, Mauricio.
Just over 4 years ago.
And he grabbed his core team and we started and we were on our way. And then
we had the right people over there. They're fantastic.
Yeah, we started with the right people, right? And he had a team that he knew were the right people, and he just hand selected the right people to start the business, which was fantastic. 400
people in Chile working for Martinus, delivering new railways, renewals and maintaining railways. It's insane.
And the future looks bright.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely in South America. Yeah. And I think that you say, what do we take from a place like that? It's, we're doing, retractable overhead wiring systems, high voltage. We're doing SCADA over there. We're doing CCTV. We're doing platforms. Some of the capabilities we have in Chile, we don't even currently have in our current teams here in Australia, So to us, it always teaches me, it's like, just nothing's too scary.
Yeah.
No project. I look at, talking to Gavin the other day, and he was like, that project scares me. I was like, it doesn't scare me at all. Like that project, that's just, we do this elsewhere, so we can do it.
I think we've got to get better at advertising and marketing that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So our own people know what we're delivering and what we're
correct.
capable of doing.
Yeah.
Toby, you just got back from the States. You've been over there for the last few months and you're heading back over early next year.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like walking into the US business?
A challenge.
Yeah.
It was a good challenge. I think it's all the right ingredients are there. I think we're just not necessarily baking the cake right yet, but we're close. So we were quite a business over there, just over 3 years ago?
3 years ago, yeah.
Three. And I think it's been a journey getting it from, a small sort of maintenance business that was focused on class 1 particularly into what we want to do, which is what we're sort of doing here, which is getting more into projects and working direct to the clients and then getting more into the major projects. So, I just spent 4 months over there, and the last thing I did was actually the Christmas party over there, Friday, a week and a half ago. And unreal. Like it was
in
we got
Austin,
everyone
Texas?
in Austin. We brought the team together, and like most of the team hadn't met each other.
Wow.
So everyone's, because it's such obviously a big country, and we've got projects everywhere, and we've got projects, we've got bridge, and then we've got flagging. There's sort of 3 revenue streams, but a lot of people haven't interacted. So culturally, I think we've got a really good thing going, and we've made some changes, but like the core team there now and what we're doing and where we're heading is pretty awesome. And I think you look at the opportunity in the market is out of control.
Yeah.
I remember there's we did an exercise here. It's like, okay, if we get 5% of the market cap in Australia, that gets us to 500 million per annum. Okay, that's a pretty, let's do that. You use similar metrics over there, and it's like, that's like 5 billion.
Yeah.
So it's just, so the restrictions in that market aren't the size of the market. It's your appetite, which hasn't been a big restriction for us ever. So it's like we can, and I think you go back to the connecting the dots that we've done over here, and everything that like I'm looking at and doing what I've done for the last few years, particularly in that growth stuff and work winning. It's like, it's basically just teaching people or telling people that this is all, we've done it all before.
Yeah.
That's a really cool thing.
Yeah.
So we're not learning the lessons that have learned. We'll still learn a few for sure, but we can accelerate the growth over there and expanding the market in a organic way, or a fast way, but an organic way, using what we've done over here.
Yeah.
It's a paradigm. It's a shift for them. Paradigm shift for
Huge
them over there, because what we were delivering was small rail service packages, right, for class 1. So 500,000, maybe $1 million.
Yep, correct.
To what's Palouse, right?
Plus 26 million.
26 million. So that's a huge jump.
Yeah. So we've talking to Mitch this morning. We've tendered almost $400 million in the last 4 months.
Yeah.
We're going to do $1 billion worth of tendering FY26.
Yeah, wow.
Last year, I wouldn't know the number off the top of my head, but definitely wasn't that. And even talking to the team now, it's like it's harder to deliver the smaller projects.
Yeah.
You get no time to react. It's harder to tender. You got more volume to tender. Like it's all just easier. And it's it's in a really, really cool spot, really exciting spot where like I said, it's taken time to get to that point.
Yeah.
But I think we've over the last 2 years, and particularly over the last sort of 6 to 8 months, where we've brought some key people across that we know and trust. Back to that, getting the right people that we know and trust, build that around. There's a really pivotal, I reckon, next 6 months where it's really going to turn.
It's definitely been our hardest place to expand into, right? So, and acquisitions are hard.
Yeah.
No one says they're easy.
That's not what it's not how we've grown before.
No,
so,
exactly. So it was a definite learning curve for all of us around how quickly we need to pivot a business and how to do it. So,
yeah, targeting the US, it's Toby said it is 10 times the scale of the Australian business, rail business.
It's 30 times the market.
Or 30 times.
The market is 30 times.
30 times. So it is such a big opportunity. That's why we went to the US. It's based in the US. Yes, we will look at projects in Canada, and we've got 2 huge opportunities, one on the East Coast, one on the not West.
I was going to say West Coast
in Canada,
US.
one up in Alaska as well. So huge rail projects, $100 to $200 million US projects. So that's the scale that we're going, heading towards. But to get there, we hired Brett Urquhart and then Will Baker as our strategy to understand the market and get into that market. There was an opportunity to acquire a small rail services business at the time, and we ran towards it. And the transition from that small business to what we want the US business to be didn't happen quick enough, and that's why we've now got the right people to come in. So the right people from Australian experience to go from those rail service to projects, and that journey is well underway. It's exciting. The projects we're on, the projects we're looking at, the team that we've built is very exciting.
It's the same story as what we did here in Australia, right?
Definitely.
It's
very familiar but different.
And the sentiment in the market over there, some of the conferences and just people talking to us, like they're excited. Like we are doing something different than our competitors, basically.
And our competitors over there, it's similar to here. There's 2 big players over there that are our competitors. So it's exciting to have that.
All right, so we're nailing global expansion. We've got 8 business divisions.
Yep.
So what's the new era for Martinus look like moving forward?
Always, as I said earlier, we have to always start early. So we're in the midst of our global expansion right now, but always thinking delivering what we're doing now. Always thinking what's next. The layer cake that we've built from our product supply into rail services projects, major projects, has and is evolving into infrastructure by Martinus. So we all hate competition, because if we rock up to a project and there's 20 contractors, it happened to us in the Hunter Valley ARTC when the mining boom stopped. Instead of 3 contractors, 4 contractors going for a project because everyone was busy, 20 rocked up. You end up losing money on projects. If you want to secure the job just to keep your team busy, you'll lose money, and definitely not sustainable. And we don't like losing money on projects. So what's the best way to do that is invest and develop our own projects. And we'll do it in our 4 markets, Australia, New Zealand, Chile, and the US, to develop new railways. We'll finance it, we'll build it, and even operate it for the life of that railway. That's the exciting next chapter that has created those opportunities. The one in Alaska is a infrastructure by Martinus project. There's some in New Zealand. There's some in Australia and Chile as well.
Yeah.
I feel like that, we talk about that 7 years to get something going. I feel like it takes 3 years to kind of get a new business,
momentum going.
Get the momentum, understand it and where we need to be, and then secure a contract to get into it.
Yep.
Yeah. I feel like we're probably we're just about year 3 of that IBM journey now.
Yeah,
when we
definitely.
really kicked it off.
When
we say really kicked it off, but I remember putting it on the whiteboard. There's been plenty of whiteboard sessions.
Yeah.
It was the Murray Basin was a whiteboard session. There was another whiteboard session. The 4 of us were in the room at Kirrawee, and I just lay it out, and it was the guiding star was own a railway. And own a railway means we're developing the railway.
Yeah.
We don't compete for the construction contract. It's Martinus's to deliver, and that was the solution that we were offering the market. And we've got opportunities to own 7 railways right now that we're developing right now. So it's
7.
No, it is. There's a lot going on in that space. I've actually just started getting involved myself, and it's it's really exciting.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to be spending a lot more of my time in that space.
Fantastic. All right, so let's talk about some insights then over the last 20 years. Some of the
Do you want to touch on haulage as well?
Yeah,
actually,
definitely.
that's what I was going to ask. Are we allowed to talk about haulage? Are we allowed to talk about all the other stuff?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's talk about everything. It's a good opportunity to let everyone know what's going on. So we've also started, and this is the 3 years in
probably 2.5 years into that.
Into being an above rail operator. There was I would say we're strategic as well as opportunistic. We always head up looking for opportunities in our lane to take us to the next level, and not just doing it once. Something that if we do once, it builds a whole new capability that we could do on its own, but also feeds the rest of the Martinus group of businesses. And haulage is that. So we kicked off 3 years ago now. It was early before that was the idea to be a bulk above rail haulage operator, taking commodities from point A, the mine, to a processing plant or to the port. And it's finally coming to fruition where we're kicking off a new business. We've got a contract that we'll sign this month for 6 million tonnes of commodity every year for the next 15 years. So it's our first contract in haulage. It's worth $800 million, and we're going to have $100 million worth of assets running around central Queensland, delivering commodities from mine to port, which is not a bad first effort.
Absolutely.
It's for a startup.
It's the first contract, not the first effort.
Oh, yeah,
first
contract.
First
contract.
We've been, you says opportunistic there. Existing clients that we're currently working for have a problem.
Yep.
They come to us, and discussions went, well, maybe we can solve this, and it's taken us a few tenders and to work out which is the right contract, which is the right client, I would say, who wants to get in with us. A very closed off market, so it's got a massive barrier to entry. So to get through that's been quite difficult.
Yeah. Do you remember how it originated? It was we were looking to be a point of difference for a new mine in the Hunter Valley to build a rail line. We wanted to build a 19-kilometre rail line, and that's one of our infrastructure by Martinus opportunities. But originally it was, how about they're going to need to haul the product as well. So why don't we go partner with one of the existing operators, Horizon or PN? You've got a choice of two.
Yep.
And they're both $8 billion businesses. And so Horizon, ex-government, Queensland government, we just didn't want to deal with them. We'd heard that they were just a nightmare to deal with, very bureaucratic. So it's not for us. So we went for Pacific National. And the idea, we will deliver the below rail, you do the above rail, we'll go to the client and say, here's a package solution. And when we kicked off with PN, Pacific National, we're having meetings for them to have meetings to another level, then to have a meeting with another level. It's like three levels removed from and we're sitting there. There is no way we're going to work with this company at all. It's like a meeting for a meeting for a meeting. It was like,
to me,
you're kidding me.
Eye-opening about how easy it was. Just what we do, right?
Yeah.
I was like, didn't seem as complex as what it looks, and I was like, oh, we could just do this ourselves. This isn't that hard.
Yep.
You meet the people in those organisations. You're like, oh, we got people like that. We've got those smarts. We can do it.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah.
We're already doing. We've got a massive plant capability that we mobilise plant from anywhere in the world to anywhere in the world for our railway construction, so that we've got a team that understands locomotives and wagons. We've already procured and own a lot of locomotives and wagons ourselves. So that part of it, and then we did bring in the expertise.
Yeah.
Nathan Spicer and Lee Morrissey to really kick off with the smarts within that segment of the market. And it's exciting times going forward.
Getting the right people early has been integral.
Yeah.
So we've got infrastructure by Martinus, we've got haulage, we've got global expansion, we've got major projects, we've got rail services, we've got signalling.
Yeah, not much going on.
Not much going on, right?
Things.
Yeah, a few things. That's all right. What does that taught you about business? What does that taught you about life? What sort of insights have you garnered from this wild ride?
With the right team and having the capability, anything's possible.
Yep.
Anything's possible, and have fun doing it. I know I get excited chasing and building new capability and taking on what I said earlier. If someone says you can't do it or it looks impossible, that's where the real opportunity is. That's where I will run towards, because if it looks impossible, no one else will want it. No one else will run at it. So you have a look at it. We beat the global turnout manufacturers, and those businesses, they're multi-billion-dollar businesses. We are now we are bigger than them in markets across the globe. Then we took on the multinational multinational construction companies here in Australia, and we are beating them. We are either competing head to head, or they're not seen capable to deliver the projects the rail projects. So it's there's only a very small handful that can do what we do and we built. Haulage, we're now going after. We're going after and successfully cracking a market where there's two huge 800-pound gorillas. Anything's possible.
Anything's possible.
We'll keep running at those impossibilities.
What about you guys?
Oh, for me, it's anything's possible. But I just like it's been a wild ride, right? And it's been like, I remember when I first came into Martinus, and Trevor pulling me aside, I could be a little bit abrasive.
Yeah.
Really?
I used to be always being a little bit abrasive.
I mean, is that we recording?
I feel like I've had to change a little bit, but it was more, I'm not too different to as I was. It's just be who you are, right? And give it a go and just work with people you want to work with, and have fun along the way. Like the amount of times that we've been, in tough positions, and I wouldn't rather have a better bunch of people around me, just know we're going to get through it, because we're going to work harder than whoever we're against. Yeah. And we like winning.
Yep.
And we will go all out to do it. So it's been great. And I've just learnt so much off Trevin, and I look back, there's some contracts there where I remember I'm not advocating for this. Early days, I was looking at a contract, I said, Trevin, we can't meet those dates. And he goes, Ryan, have you been on that site? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, do you think they're going to meet that date? And I was like, no. And he goes, to get out of jail free. Sign the contract.
Yep.
You know, just
You got to look at it that way.
He's like, you know what? I was like, he's actually 100% right.
Yeah.
Like, we're just going to be able to supply. It's going to be fine, and it's all going to change. So just have a crack.
Yeah, and we've always focused on delivery. Deliver the project, deliver it, right? So,
and the amount of change that comes in all of these projects, it's like just adapting to that change and making sure we're doing it the right way.
Build the team that you've got confidence in delivery, in delivering what we're signing up for, what we're going for, and that's instrumental. Yeah. Like if you don't have the capability to deliver what we're saying we're doing, we shut the doors.
Yeah.
So that's what it's a big focus from all of us is to build that the right team that will deliver, can deliver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The point, like I think we're all mates, outside of work, even, to the point where like Toby and I go on a golf trip every year with all our mates, and it's like I think there's 6 work people.
Yep.
It's all like my mates from the Sunshine Coast, and it's a few other mates. It's
usually
we're
in
so
Bali
close.
around the same time.
Yep.
Yeah. Bali at the same time, or Fiji, wherever, on a beach somewhere.
Absolutely.
There you, Tobes.
I love the saying, culture eats strategy for breakfast.
It's good.
And I think that culture piece is something we've always got right. And I think that's the type of personalities and that, that mindset and all that sort of stuff. So I think that's always been the key. But then the strategy side of it, and this I remember, was it 2013 when I first started, Trevor threw us all the book Scaling Up.
Yes.
And it was like, I think that we've always had that, the BHAG, the North Star, the guiding light, having that all the time and then breaking that down into that day-to-day strategy, like it's crazy to watch how that's evolved and how many BHAGs we've achieved and what we've achieved because we've always had
being a big, hairy, audacious goal for those who don't know.
They should know. But it's like, like you can do whatever you want almost.
Yeah.
Like I guess what I've learned, what we've learned is anything's possible, but you've got to set the way to get there, or you've got to set that where you want to get to start with, and then you work out how to get there.
I think one of Treven's favourite sayings: "Shoot for the stars and fight like hell to get there."
That's it. That's it.
You'll land on the moon.
Yeah. So I feel that's pretty crazy to watch every single time. What do we hit? BHAGs we've hit in 3, 4, 5 years, and they're supposed to be things they're unattainable North Stars. So it's pretty cool.
The culture piece I remember so early, like with yourself, Craig, and you were fighting for that culture. Yeah. Now I feel like I don't have to be involved. I feel like it's self-sustaining a lot more now. Like it's so out inside the business.
Yeah.
Like I remember with Trev in early days, and I was making decisions, and he would say, "What the tier ones do?" I said, "They do this." We'll do the exact opposite. He said, "Do the opposite to it."
Absolutely.
And I had to change my mindset. I remember one time someone wanted to move to Byron Bay, and it was some administration girl, and I was like, "No." And then I was like, "No, that's what a tier one would say.
Yeah.
No, let them do it. Yeah, no, I can't see why not.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Go for it." I was like one of our, and this was going back to 2014 or 15. I was like, remote working was just not a thing, but I was like, let's go for it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
We pride ourselves on doing the opposite.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we've always said we want those people that don't necessarily fit into the box of a tier one organisation.
I definitely didn't.
Yeah, come and work here.
And successful that way. We always you just every time we've gone through a growth spurt, the team will say, how are we going to keep the culture? But it's been the 4 of us around this table and a greater team.
Yeah.
That's
It's a
why
greater
it's
team
a
now.
greater team now because, but early on and still to this day, we just don't put up with something that's not to our expectations. So we do have a high bar, and the right people rise to that high bar. And benefit from it because they are surrounded by other people that are
exactly right.
excelling at that bar, and they're not and we've got to be vigilant. Always make sure we setting the expectations.
Stamp it out.
And like for the last 4 months being in the US, and I've had some great guys with me. The Cutsies and the Will Thompsons and the Tim Cox and the Mitches, the guys that have been with us for a long time. But going across and spending that time there, definitely more noticeable in terms of the culture side of it. It's like, all right, even things. Cameras on.
Yeah.
Those little things that we take for granted because it's so ingrained in what we're doing. But they're the things you say, no, that's how we do it. Sort of here, even talking to Cutsy every day of how he runs, the day-to-day pre-starts and all that sort of stuff. It's, you take it for granted until it's not there. And that's been the big focus for us in the US over the last 4 months is get that culture right because that's the foundation. Yeah. Then we can build off that.
Yeah. Small meetings.
Yeah.
Like how many times have it's as if there's more than 8 people in a meeting, it's just a community. What is it? It's an
Town
update.
hall.
It's a town hall.
Town hall or an update or a committee, and I hate
Right people
committees.
in there.
So just always ask yourself, does everyone need to be in the meeting? And then that's what our team does do. And really, if it starts expanding out, hang on, this is getting crap. Let's get back to more efficient. Like CCing people on emails. There's so many our new members from tier ones would think that they have to CC in people, and I've told people, don't, unless there's an action for me, don't CC me on the emails. Just get it done, and these guys will be the same. And it just gets rid of the bureaucracy, gets rid of the noise, so people can focus on getting good stuff done.
Yeah.
And we've just got to keep doing that.
It creeps in.
It
Just got to
does.
keep on top of it. It just creeps in. I
does.
notice it. Like I think Toby and I have good conversations around the amount of Teams meetings. It's like I want to go through every year and just purge. I just the start of year purge all these meetings out, and if they come back in, that must be important. But the amount of meetings that people go in that they're not adding value or getting value, I'm like, just don't be in the meeting.
What do we have in?
You don't have to be there.
In our culture slide deck, I think we have something around if it's not rude to get up and leave a meeting, it's rude to be made to stay. Like if you're not adding value and contributing, go.
Yeah.
Go and do
Or
something.
getting values. Sometimes you should sit back.
But that's the hard part as well. Yeah, if you are a new starter, you've come from a different culture. That's you don't leave meetings. You so it's making sure we're ingraining those new people into.
Yeah.
And I think that culture slide deck's pretty good tool to.
George did. I remember we were having early days infrastructure by Martinus meetings, and George Corrales, great experience from his previous company he worked for in that whole develop, build, finance project. So I got him in the meetings, and he just stopped turning up. And I actually called him up after he missed about 3, and I said, why did you stop turning up? And he just said, I just wasn't adding any value. I said, thank you.
Thank you.
Well done. And I talk to him just one-on-one every now and again when I get that inside invite. I just say, this is what we're doing, this is where we're done, and what have you seen? And I get that one-on-one insight from him instead of him sitting in a 2-hour meeting every week.
Perfect. All important lessons for the future leaders of Martinus, because where do you see the next 20 years?
Oh, wow.
What if we're sitting here in 20 years' time doing a 40-year
Probably not much hair.
update?
Yeah, Craig would have lost all his muscle by then, just fat.
No way.
No way.
Exactly.
No way.
Yeah. Wow. It's
I'll be
for me, I mean, I can't even picture it. Like I couldn't, you look back to where we were even 13 years ago when I started it.
Yeah.
You can't really picture of where we would have got to. So, I mean, the sky's the limit, and we'll take any opportunity that comes our way that we think is right. I think that, the new ventures, particularly international, infrastructure by Martinus and haulage, they're really going to be big growth engines. Australia, New Zealand construction, and, USA, Chile construction will go through the cycles. I feel like we will definitely be a bigger player in those pies as they come through. That's given, but it's just making sure that we are looking at more opportunities as they come through as well, I think. And, particularly in the rail space, only in the rail space.
Well, you never say never.
No.
We did make a conscious decision to do that vertical diversification within the rail industry, but you never say never.
Toby brought an opportunity in the US to us. It's a rail opportunity. It is building a super high-speed railway for rockets. So we are going to the
New Mexico.
To the moon.
It's like ballistics.
It wasn't rockets, I think it was missiles.
Missiles. There we go.
Same thing.
So who knows? You just look at where we've come from for the last even the last 7 years of where we've grown from. So 7 years ago, we're a team of 50.
2018, yeah.
And now we're in one market. Now we're across 4 markets, and the amount of the teams that we've got on all our different projects and in our different businesses just blows me away of the capability we have today. So thinking about the where we can go next 20 years, I really see an opportunity which that you guys know me very well.
Write this one down.
We haven't heard about this one yet.
No, it sounds like a new one.
Where's the whiteboard?
Turn the bikes off.
Everyone knows that corporate is the other C word that I absolutely hate.
It's the first C word you hate.
That's the first C word, yeah. And then a diversified, decentralized model is what we are pushing for. That's why we've got 8 businesses that can run on their own independently, but also they interlink with each other.
They've got to be
well.
interdependent,
It's really good. So I can see that just accelerating because it took us a while to get to this point because we didn't want to create silos. So we felt like we did need some sort of corporate to manage so there wasn't silos. But we've gone through that. We are now really have these 8 businesses. We can add more to it. I see an opportunity for the right people in our team to. We've got so many entrepreneurs or intrapreneurs you've mentioned in our teams. Create businesses and they can be small or large within what Martinus Group does. So more of a instead of a decentralized platform model where we are people are in charge of their own destiny, creating value and going after an opportunity that we don't want to get the whole group going after this opportunity. Like a small team can go after an opportunity and it can turn bigger. It's what we've done before successfully. And what's that going to turn? Is that going to be 80, 800 businesses? Who knows?
Who knows?
There could be
There's no cap.
a platform of businesses underneath the Martinus Group doing lots of different things where we're ingrained in the rail infrastructure, global business, and that will always be a core. But next 20 years, it's going to be exciting.
It will.
Fantastic. Any closing comments before we shut this thing off?
A shout out to you, Craig, because you've been asking the questions. And you joined, as you said earlier, as originally as safety. And you're such a standout example of how we do things different at Martinus. You have a passion for podcasts, for leadership training, for coaching. And as soon as we could, we got you out of that safety role. Still heavily involved, obviously, making sure that our global safety team hit the mark. But you've excelled in being what we call the glue, the glue between our team members as well as our teams to get that extra 10% or to make sure we don't go down the wrong path. So well done, mate. It's really, really good.
It means a lot to me. This company means a lot to me. The people mean a hell of a lot to me, and I'm certainly excited for the next 20 years. Yeah. So.
How long have you lasted at each of your other roles in other
not
businesses?
more than 2 years.
So you've done a lot of different things.
And I told you that. I've been a policeman, I've been a teacher, I've been mining, I've been oil and gas, I've FIFO, I've lived remote. I like variety.
Yep.
And you asked me that when I first started, what's something I need to know about you that's not so good? And I said, I probably won't be here in 2 years.
Yep.
And you went, well, give me the 2 best years of your life. I said, sweet.
And 10 years later.
10 years later, and mate, I'm
good.
genuinely excited for the future. Yeah. It's a great place. All right, thank you.
Thank you, mate.
Thank you. Thanks, mate.
Thanks, Craig.
Come on, Craig.
Well done.
All right.
That's good.
All right.
Really good.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks, mate.